Assalamu alaikum and hello ladies, welcome to Healing Aspirations with Amani. Today I wanted to take some time and share with you a conversation I'm having right now with one of my clients. Her name is Amirah, and without further ado I'd like to introduce her to you. Amirah, can you please tell me a little bit about yourself? I'm a person who loves different ethnic backgrounds, and so tell me about where do you currently live, where are you from, and we'll start it with that. Go ahead.
Yeah, great. Thank you for introducing me. So as you said, my name's Amira. I currently live in London in the UK. Ethnically, my dad is Egyptian and my mum is from Thailand. I have 2 kids and I'm married. My kids are age 7 and 4. So yeah, that's me.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing a bit about you, Amira. So let's just get to this. I really want the ladies out there listening to get a better understanding, a better feel for what it's like to be in the Heal Your Mouth, Heal Your Body Mastermind. So the first thing I want to start off with is tell me about what your problem was before you enrolled in my program.
Yeah, so before enrolling in a program, I had spent I think at least 2 years, maybe 3 years, with fluctuations in my energy, definitely feeling a lot of low energy and fatigue, struggling with weight. So I had lost weight and then gained it and lost weight, that kind of whole yo-yo dieting process, and just really struggling with conflicting nutritional information out there, not really knowing what to follow. And then also I did breastfeed both of my kids, and my eldest, my daughter, was completely fine in terms of not having any tooth decay, but my younger child, my son, he has some tooth decay on his front teeth, and so that really worried me. And I know that it was probably because of breastfeeding, but also, as I've now learned, due to kind of my first child maybe taking some of my nutrients, especially if I didn't have the right nutrition myself. So I've now learned that. So in essence, I struggled with my weight and the kind of dental health of both myself and of my kids.
Got you 100%. So energy levels, weight gain issues, tooth decay, even though, like oftentimes this happens where like your first child has no problems, but then your second child, you're like, I don't understand. I'm doing the same exact thing that I did the first one. Why is this happening? Awesome. So I want you to share with the ladies, what actual results have you gotten through my coaching program so far?
So what I really love is just having one place to go to for nutritional advice, so it isn't conflicting in any way. And I love how it's really tailored to me, and I can kind of adapt the strategies and advice and recommendations, and adopt it within my own lifestyle. And what I really like is it's not rigid. It's not like you must follow this or else. There are so many different alternatives. And what I really like about your approach to things is you're really kind of anti things being overwhelming. Like, you don't recommend us taking what you say and trying to do all of it in one go. And I think that kind of used to be my trait beforehand. I used to be quite all or nothing, and I really like how strongly you recommend you say to us, take 1 or 2 things and do really well with those things and then build on that. And I think that has been the key in what I've seen so far in my success so far, because before joining your program, like I said, I have tried diets and I would try and do them perfectly and stick to them for a few weeks and then just kind of fall off the wagon and then just feel a bit deflated and feel a bit like a failure. And what I really love is how empowering your program is.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. This is actually really, really common where, you want to achieve a specific goal, right? And so you do your research here and there and you put some sort of protocol together of all these different steps and you're trying so hard to do it, but then within a few weeks it collapses and you just can't do it. And you're like, oh, and then, the feelings of failure and like, do you feel like, are you ever going to get ahead, right? So it's interesting that with my process that I've taught you guys is that it's better to slow down in order to go fast. And you're seeing the benefits of that, right? It doesn't have to be complicated. Simple is key. Awesome. Okay, so I want to know a little bit about what exactly you like the most about my program, right? There must be something that's really, each woman has her own thing that she loves. So I want to hear a little bit from you about what it is that you love the most.
It's not just one thing, but off the top of my head, what I can say is I love how holistic your program is. It isn't just nutrition and it isn't just focused on dental health. It's like everything together. And I love how you talk about like the quantum side of things, and you bring in the spiritual side of things, and you just kind of tie it all in together, and you just kind of effortlessly show us how everything is interconnected, and things that may seem completely irrelevant to dental health, you bring it in and show us how relevant and necessary it is. And you really empower us with this education that is so lacking in the mainstream. And I feel so lucky and blessed to get access to this information, because as I said, it isn't mainstream, so not many people know about it. So I feel really privileged to have access to this like valuable golden information that I can as I said, adopt in my own lifestyle and then pass on to my kids. And I really think it is such a legacy. It's a beautiful thing to pass on to my children, and hopefully they'll pass on to their children. And I think it's so important for us to empower ourselves with this information, because really health is everything. Without health, you can't achieve what God put you on this earth to do.
Oh my God, 100%. I totally agree with you there, right? The greatest blessing that we have is our health, right? Because when we have abundant health, amazing health, nothing's blocking us. You know what I mean? It's amazing. So thank you for sharing that. Now, given that you've mentioned all these things, what prevented you from enrolling sooner? That's the other thing I'm curious about.
Yeah, great question. So I know that I'd been in talks with you for quite a while before enrolling in your program. And I think it was just the usual kind of mindset thing. I think, again, everything is really mindset when you think about it. You take action based on the thoughts that you're having. So, I was having conversations with you and I knew I really wanted to join. I knew that the program would be good, but I kept on putting it off and delaying it. And one of the main reasons was just thinking that, oh, I can't financially afford this. So it was the kind of typical excuse that people will come up with when they don't feel ready to empower themselves. And I think it was literally just an excuse, because when it comes to finances, it doesn't need to be something that prevents you, because the way I see it now is really finances, money comes from God. And so if you really align with that, the money will come effortlessly. You do need to find a way to make it happen. It won't just kind of fall in in your lap. I mean, it can do, but if you actually really want something, you will find the way. And I think it's about seeing the value in things. One of my mentors told me that, if someone came to you and said your dream house is £10,000 or $10,000, you will find a way to make that $10,000. Like, no matter what, like your dream house, if it was $10,000, and the reason why you'll find a way to make that $10,000 is because you've assigned a certain value to that dream house. And I think what I needed to see the value in joining your coaching program. And as soon as I saw the value, it was, what you offer is way more than what I am paying for this program, to be in this program. And it's not just about being in the program and that's it. It's about, the ripple effect on my life, my marriage, my kids, the clients that I work with, because I have my own business. So it is really about seeing the value in what you are investing in, and seeing it as an investment, essentially, because it's not just a price you pay and then that's it. It's something that you will see a return on your investment.
Oh my God, I love how you explained that so well, because I like how you explained it, because oftentimes, women are interested, my content resonates with them. They're watching a Facebook Live, like, oh my God, I really want to work with you. And the first question they ask is, what's the price, right? And I'm like, that should be the last question you ask. Not because money's not an issue or money's not, well, I actually want to take that back. Money is a factor. Let's put a different twist on that. But like you said, if it's something that you really want, if you see the value, you're going to make it happen. You know what I mean? And like you said, it's not just about, the money, what is it going to cost me to do this program? No, what are you going to get out of this program? So that investment mindset, right? And at the end of the day, what's going to happen? You're going to keep this information with you, and the knowledge and the tools and the skills for life, right? So is there a price on that? The answer is no, right? So instead, this, when we first got on that clarity call, right, I explained it to you, first of all, where are you stuck? What are you struggling with? What have you tried? What is it that you really deeply desire, right? We have to go through that deeply, or else my program is irrelevant. You know what I mean? And so it's really important for you to know your why. And I think as soon as you found out what your why was, you're like, that's it, I'm ready, right?
Yeah, no, definitely. Definitely. I mean, another thing that I mean, I remember when I did eventually join your program, I felt like it wasn't that I had reached rock bottom, but I just kind of felt like I was kind of fed up of just, you know, trying other things and them not really working, and then just not being happy with where my life was and where my health was at that moment in time, and just deciding that I was worthy of a better life and worthy of better health, and seeing it that way, like seeing my own self-worth, and deciding for myself, because it was a choice at that time, deciding that I deserve this program, and my kids deserve me joining this program, and my marriage deserves me joining this program, and my life deserves me joining this program. So just really seeing it from that mindset, really, I was like, I'm ready to join now, and I really want to join now. And, you know, even if you don't have all of the finances at that time, if you really, you know, align with your why, like you said, and you pray to God, God will make a way for you. So even now, God is making a way for me, because he knows that through this program, I'm going to have better health, and through better health, I can worship him better and fulfill my purpose better, be a better mother, be a better wife, be a better kind of contributor in my community.
Alhamdulillah. Thank you so much. It's an honor serving you, Amira, in this. Alhamdulillah. So I want to ask you something else, right? Because I know there's a lot of ladies that are thinking and wondering and questioning, and I'm sure they're, you know, they're having the same thoughts going through their heads. So for you, what would you say was your main concern that would have prevented you from buying the program, and what put your fears at rest, right? We talked about the whys, but what was your main concern, right? Because sometimes we have these limiting beliefs going on where we think, you know, perhaps it's not going to work for us, or X is going to happen, or this might not happen. So what was that for you?
Yeah, I'd say my main concern was my worry or my fear of me not sticking to it, or not being committed enough, or not following through enough, or maybe just having too much to do through your program. Like, because I know when I join programs, I've joined other courses and programs in the past, you know, the information I receive is really valuable, but I find that I struggle sometimes with following through. So that was my biggest worry, that would I see a return on my investment if I don't follow through? So that was just, it was more a reflection on my own personality. But I just decided that it's not going to be the case this time round, because like I said to you, I kind of felt really fed up with my life and was really willing to adopt this new information. And what I really liked when we had one of the clarity calls is you clearly said, this is not something that you need to take all the information and do all of it in one go. It's, you know, a very, very gradual process, and you do recommend, you know, taking a couple of things at a time and just working through them. Even if you don't see massive changes in your life, working through one or two things at a time, eventually you will see the results.
Right on, right on. I'm so glad you touched on that point. And I think we've talked about that before, is you were kind of worried that that you're not going to be able to follow through on what I recommend. And then you realize that, like, what put your fears, you know, to rest is that I recommend everything to be done at a slow and steady pace, right? So like you said, just one or two things slowly, rather than trying to change everything overnight. So I'm glad you really shared that, because oftentimes I feel like this is what's holding back moms. They're like, okay, what if I pay all this money? It's not going to work and I can't do it, right? Now, I want to ask you another question that's tying into that a little bit. So if you were to recommend my coaching to your best friend, Amira, okay, this is a bit juicy, a bit deep, what would you say?
I'd say go for it, definitely. I'd say you're worthy of this program. And I'd say, you know, our ummah, our community needs women who are going to do things outside of the box. Like, it's not common, it's not mainstream for women to be enrolling in dental coaching programs. Like, you don't, like, if I were to go and say that to my best friend that I'm in a dental coaching program, it's not something you would commonly say in a conversation. But I think that that's a good thing, because, you know, it's those people who are the kind of trailblazers or the pioneers, that the people doing things that are not mainstream. We are the ones really who are the change makers in our own lives, in our own families, but then also, like I said, it is that ripple effect in the community. And I think, you know, it is really overwhelming when you try and do it all on your own. It's very lonely trying to do it all on your own. And then, you know, we, like, women will try and find information online or in books or through many different courses, and then the information is conflicting, and then you end up being more overwhelmed, and then you just kind of self-sabotage. You decide that this is too much and you kind of give up, and then you feel really deflated. And a lot of the times we don't really blame those courses or books. We kind of look at ourselves and blame ourselves. When actually, if you have one place to go to where you get your information, it's not going to be conflicting, and you can just relax, like, and trust the journey, like trust someone who's also been there beforehand. You know, I love how you kind of tie in your own personal story, your history with your own dental health, and how you've improved your own dental health, but also that of your kids and your family. So I think that if I were to speak to my best friend, I'd definitely say go for it, and I'd say that you won't regret it at all, and you'd actually just wish that you joined sooner.
Jazakallah. Thank you so much. It warms my heart, right? And I'm being honest with you ladies, you know, I have my own struggles, you know what I mean? Transparency here, you know, sometimes you question, you know, is it even making a difference? Is it even worth it? And so, you know, this testimonial that we're doing here, this feedback that I'm doing here, it's not just for you ladies, right? It's a reminder for myself that what I'm doing is actually creating impact, and I need to keep going, and I need to grow, inshallah. And I'm aspire to help you. I know a lot of you are watching right now and you're thinking, man, I'd love to work with Amani. Pray to God too about it. You know what I mean? Make your intention, do your part, you know, and the results will come from Allah, inshallah. And one thing I really want to touch about what you talked about right now, Amirah, is this whole thing about having one place to go to. And you're not the first person to tell me this, because I've talked with other, you know, ladies who have done other coaching before, and they struggle with, okay, so I go to this person, but now I have to go here, and then I have to go there, and then I have to go there. And instead, you know, so much time and energy is spent, you know, when you're trying to go through to different routes and things like that. And so when you just, everything is consolidated in one place, it gives you time to what? To focus, right? Focus. And then the more you focus, the more you get results, right? So I'm really, really happy that you shared that. Now, so going back to that, right? The fact that you know, you probably have done different types of coaching programs before. What made you choose my program over anything else that you could have done? Let's talk about that now.
Yeah, so as I kind of mentioned earlier, what I really like is how holistic it is. You don't just focus on the kind of dental health strategies, just focusing on the mouth by itself. You don't just focus on the nutrition side of things. You bring in both of those things, like the kind of strategies for oral health alongside nutrition, and how important both of them are. You can't really do one without the other. They both need each other. But you also bring in the spiritual side, and you tie a lot of things to Islam, which I love, and just how holistic everything is. So that definitely really appealed to me, because with other programs that I've joined, they tended to focus just on nutrition, just on diet, because as I mentioned earlier, one of my kind of things that I struggled with is weight gain. So naturally, most people, when they try to lose weight, they'll try and find a diet, which is definitely what I did. Tried lots of different diets and thought, okay, this is the one, this one's going to work, but it just, you know, it doesn't. And it's just hard to bring in a diet when you're trying to do it on your own. And that was something I was trying to do, is trying to eat differently to my kids and my husband, and you just feel even more lonely. So then you'd give up and you'd just cook like regular meals that weren't very healthy, but at least you could eat with them, and then you don't feel so lonely. But then it impacts your health, and then you notice it impacting the health of your kids. And what I really liked about you, from watching your live videos before even joining the program, I could just tell that this was your lifestyle, that you did this as a family with your kids. You cooked meals that all of the family ate, and that's what I really wanted. Like, I wanted to cook healthy meals that I felt good about, that tasted good, that my kids would actually eat, so that I don't feel lonely, so I am eating the same foods as them. So in answer to your question, I just love how it's so relevant. Like, I resonate with everything you share, and that's what prompted me to join your program.
Alhamdulillah. I'm glad you talked about the whole diet, searching for the right diet to lose weight, searching for the right diet that's healthy, that all the family can eat, right? And so you've noticed that a huge part of my coaching is actually focusing on you, right? Like, a lot of times moms are coming to me with their kids' dental health issues, right? And I'm like, okay, I'm actually starting with you first, right? Because if you are solid, if you're rock solid, everything else will fall into place. And like you said, I'm passionate about making it easy. It doesn't have to be complicated. It can be simple. It can be something pleasurable. It can be something social, right? And going back to your point about feeling lonely, this I think is a huge part, and let me know your thoughts on this. A huge part of what makes this program so unique is the fact that you've got kind of individualized support, but at the same time, the group coaching setting, which makes you feel less alone. Can you tell me about how that has impacted you? The fact that you know other women are with you on the calls and we're talking things out, we're hashing things out. Tell me about that, Amira.
Yeah, I love the group coaching calls. It is so nice to hear the other women share their experiences, what works for them, and the things that they're struggling with. Because when you are coaching them on what they're struggling with, I'm always learning new information. Even if it isn't my exact struggle, I'm learning something new that I may need later on in my life, or it's just useful to know as information. And then, you know, when you're coaching me on my personal struggles, the other women get to hear that, and we all get to kind of share and bond in our experiences and just really be there for one another and support one another. And I really like that, you know, it's like these women are also doing similar things to me. What you're recommending to them, I'm also doing. So we're all kind of doing it together in our own little corners of the world. And as I mentioned earlier, it's not mainstream, but you don't feel like you're kind of going against the grain on your own. You know that other women are doing it. And we can only hope that what we are doing is eventually going to become the new normal for more and more people, where more and more people are seeing the benefits of taking this holistic approach to health and dental health. And the strategies that you're recommending are quite cutting edge, quite out there, against the grain. But if we start doing that, and then more and more women and families start doing it, it will eventually, hopefully, just become really normal to talk about things that, you know, people don't even really hear about or talk about.
Oh my God, that's just, I love how you talked about that, because that is so much about what I'm passionate about, right? Creating the new right normal, right? Going back to our roots, you know, what were humans supposed to be like? What are we humans supposed to live like, right? The more we deviated from the way God has, you know, intended for us to live our lives, this is why we're having all these problems, right? So, but most of the time people, oh, this is, you know, labeling things crunchy, this, that, or anything, but this is actually what it's supposed to be like. You know what I mean? This is supposed to be the normal, right? It's not supposed to be the exception. And I'm totally with you. This is what I want to do, is create this paradigm shift in dental health, in, you know, breastfeeding with children, our children, or, health, or weight loss, or sleep. All those different things are tied in together. So I'm really glad that you talked about that. Now, another question I have for you, and is I want it to be really specific, right? Because I just want you to give me 3 main benefits that you've experienced as a result of enrolling with my program. Just 3 simple ones.
So better sleep, definitely. Better mental clarity. And I'd say just really feeling empowered with knowledge about both nutrition and dental or oral health strategies.
Okay, and that last piece, that empowerment, how does that make you feel?
It makes me feel confident. It makes me feel excited. Like I am really excited to try new things. You know, if you recommend a certain product, you know, in the past, the old me might have said, oh, that's too expensive, or is it going to work? Is it worth it? But now I just fully trust anything you share. I want to know exactly which product you recommend, because I know it's going to work, and I'm really excited to go and order the products that you recommend, or, you know, buy new ingredients that I've not tried before. I'm excited to get those things and try them and see the benefits.
Beautiful, beautiful. I'm glad that you shared that. That's a really amazing point, because what does that do? That actually saves you time, right? One stop, you know, Amani, what should I do about this? Or which product do you recommend? And I just give it to you, right? You don't have to do the research. How many moms are spending so many hours on Facebook, Google, Amazon, researching, should I try this toothpaste? Should I try this supplement? Should I try this? Should I try that, right? And it sucks the energy out of you, right? And so
Yeah.
when you don't have to do that, you can actually free up yourself to actually implement things that actually work. And going back to, you know, better sleep, better mental clarity, is there a price on that? Of course not. Now,
Yeah,
another couple of questions for you. I want to know what your life was like before you started my program, and then what it's like now that you've experienced it.
so before joining your program, I would say that I was feeling very confused, very lonely, and just felt like is there really ever going to be a solution? That's kind of how I felt. Like, am I ever going to feel fully energized? I remember at one point in my life, I went on this like really healthy eating program, and I felt really good. Like, I felt this kind of renewed sense of well-being that I hadn't felt before. Like, I felt that, you know, I didn't have digestive issues, and it was really good. But unfortunately, I wasn't able to stick to that program. And that kind of moment in time, that kind of feeling of well-being, I was like craving for it again. I was like, I really want to feel like that again, but I know I can't go on that strict detox diet again, because I know that I'm just gonna kind of fall off the wagon again. It was just too difficult to stick to. But I was like, I really want something that is lasting. Like, I want to feel that sense of well-being every day, or almost every day. And so, you know, just before joining your program, I would watch your live videos and consume your content, and just really resonated with you. And I knew deep down, like, I had a gut feeling, my intuition was telling me that I need to join Amani's program, but I kept on putting it off, making excuses. But I knew that this was the program for me. So the old me was struggling with just feeling confused and feeling a little bit hopeless. And then kind of reaching my kind of rock bottom, feeling fed up with my life. I was like, I know I need to do this. And yes, it might cost quite a bit of money, but, you know, money is renewable, but my time is not. And I don't have time to keep searching for other solutions. Like, I knew that you were the solution. Your program was the solution. So since joining your program, the kind of new me is just feeling really excited, really empowered. You know, I still have quite a few more months left in this program, so I'm just looking forward to my continued growth. And, you know, even my kids, they're trying out the new products with me, like the toothpaste, the floss. Like, my daughter actually came and asked me today for the floss, and she was like trying to learn how to do it herself. So little things like that are the little kind of mini wins along the way, but they make such a difference. And, you know, I never learned this in my childhood, but I'm grateful that I'm learning it now and passing it on to my kids. So yeah, the new me is just feeling excited, feeling empowered, feeling confident. And even though my health right now isn't where I want it to be, I've seen such a huge change over the past few months through working with you. I can just only imagine, you know, where my health is going to be in the next few months, inshallah.
Love it, love it. And I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant you your healing aspirations, inshallah. So
Inshallah.
to end off, Amira, thank you so much for sharing that. I want to know one last thing. What would you say is what surprised you the most about my program?
What surprised me the most, which I don't think should have surprised me, because you are kind of like that in your live videos, but what surprises me when we are doing the group coaching calls is you usually do quite like a teaching segment, and then you do a Q&A. And in your teaching segment, you are so hands-on, like you are literally on camera showing us like step by step how to use a certain product, especially if it's a new product that none of us have used before. You are right there on camera, making sure we can see it. Yeah, so I just love how hands-on. So even though you're not physically here in my home, I feel like I'm there with you, watching you, like taking notes on how to do everything. So again, I don't feel like I'm having to search for information. I'm not having to watch like a YouTube video on how to use a water irrigator. You've already told me, and I love that it's recorded, so I can go back and watch it again if I need to. So I'd say that's what surprised me the most.
Jazakallah khair, Jazakallah khair. Thank you so much, Amira. I really appreciate you taking the time to share this, right? Because, you know, I can spend all day talking about me, and I don't like to do that, right? I really want to, like you said, I want to create that paradigm shift. I want mothers and women to think differently, do differently, and get different results. And what better way to share what is possible out there than just to have, you know, you share personally what your experience has been. So thank you so much for sharing. And I encourage you ladies, if you're watching this, and you've been on the fence, you have got nothing to lose by applying for that clarity call. I guarantee you, even if you don't end up signing up for my program, you will get a lot of clarity, and I look forward to serving you and supporting you, inshallah. With that, take care, ladies, and don't forget, keep on smiling because it looks great on you. Assalamu alaikum, peace be upon you.